Yeah, we there Strawberry Hill. You might wonder why we're doing Strawberry Hill when it's this subject about ganja we are talking about. Well, we have Chris Blackwell here with me. We're going to talk about something where I never even know say you're involved with. And not for the exporting level, but for the decriminalizing level, right? The subject of the subject of ganja.
Right.
Oh, after all of these things that you do, music, movies, this and this, how you reach this stage in your life, where you talk about getting marijuana decriminalized?
It's come from the fact that I'm now in the hospitality business, basically, with these little small hotels that I have. And I guess what really triggered it was a few years ago I went to St. Bart's.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Bart's is the most successful island in the Caribbean, really, for tourism. And the thing that really I noticed was they had all these little restaurants. They had, because the way St. Bart's is basically a part of France. That's how the French worked with the ex-colonies, etc. So there are all these restaurants, and you can get wine. Lots of vineyards, etc. All make their wine available in St. Bart's. And the thing about wine is that it sort of kind of relaxes you. It relaxes you. It makes you more full of conversation, more full of laughter. It makes a party happen, much more so than alcohol.
Yeah.
Alcohol can tend to bring out violence. It's a different quality to it. And I thought, Jamaica does not have a wine culture, but it has a ganja culture. And ganja is very similar in a sense to to wine in that respect. Is it loosens you up, makes you relaxed. It makes you laugh. It makes you feel free. It does not make you feel violent. It's just got a quality to it.
Years ago, the previous government, the one before, they commissioned a group of people headed by Professor Barry Shevans to go out there and explore what is the feeling out there amongst the people about the decriminalization of ganja. Why you feel at this time, when we say America is taking, different states is making move to decriminalize it for different purposes, why you feel that Jamaica is so reluctant to deal with it?
I think initially that reluctance was because of America. And you asked me earlier, how did I get involved? The other reason I got involved was literally about 3 months ago. I asked somebody who, knew the runnings was aware of the runnings of American government, etc. I said, what's happening in California? It seems to me that one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to get closed down or it's going to open up. What is going to happen? And they said, without question, it's opening up. And it's going to go state by state, just like a lot of the other legislation has over the years. So with that information, then it would indicate that America is not going to be upset if Jamaica decriminalizes.
All right, so Chris Blackwell is in Jamaica, and Chris Blackwell said, why this thing look like it go bust out.
Right.
We know he's a visionary with certain things. You know when things are going to bust out.
Right.
How you see your involvement now? Like, what you intend to do to make it more out there? To say, well, stop the foolishness about America. This is we could do it how we want to do it.
I think the main thing is to follow what was done, that commission. Basically, that commission is really, there was a lot of research done.
Yes.
And it came back overwhelmingly, I believe, or that was my understanding of it, that in favor of decriminalizing. I think that should just be brought to more attention now and should be brought out. And I believe very much that it is something should be done here, and I think it would be a tragedy if it was not done. I put it that I put that much emphasis on it, because if it's going to be basically opened up in America as it's clearly going in that direction, Jamaica has a an image, in a sense, of being a place where ganja is part of the culture of Jamaica
From long time.
internationally for a long, long time. If Jamaica was to sit back and lose that opportunity of being more in the front end of what is happening, I think that would be a great shame, really a great shame. It would lose a lot of, apart from anything else, it would lose. Jamaica would lose the opportunity of having another revenue that they could start to get, because California, part of the reason California is opening it up is because I believe that they have
problem of money and things.
Yes, and they projected that it can earn a huge amount of revenue to the state.
I think in 2007, they said that $30 billion was made from ganja in America, much more than wheat, corn, and the other crop, soya bean put together. And as we say, it look apparently we're waiting to import ganja. We want when somebody else do it now, and then we clamp down on it, then we start import it, and then we lose all the necessary economic benefits from it. But the point I want to ask is this: so apparently you're not the only person. It's an organization you set up, or is a group of you just decide, say, you're going to fix the government with it? How that work?
It's not an organization. It was literally something that came from that conversation when it came back to me that it was actually going to get bigger rather than close down California. Then I phoned some friends of mine. I phoned Jimmy Buffett, who's a good friend of mine, and I asked him, does he know anybody who is somebody who I could bring down to come and talk to the government in Jamaica, somebody who is a respectable member of the community, a successful businessman, whatever. And he put me on to a gentleman called Peter Lewis. Now, Peter Lewis is actually the second largest contributor to the legalization of marijuana in America. The largest contributor is George Soros. I don't know if you know that. George Soros is a very famous hedge fund manager, and he's the largest contributor. So I contacted Peter Lewis, and he came down. And because what I felt was necessary was to not have it coming from even a music business point of view, because I represent music business. Yes,
that stigma, like because you mix with the Rasta them and I think why you say that. Yeah.
Right. So I wanted to get some what I call proper people as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I also brought down a man called Ethan Nadelman, who has for some time run a operation in America, and he's totally up to date on all the laws, what's happening everywhere, and his entity is called. Gosh, I can't remember the name of it. But anyhow, he is somebody who is totally aware of everything that's going on in America in this area. And I brought him down too. And then I asked Jason Hensel, who works with me, to see if we could put together an appointment with the government to just in a sense more inform what was happening and have some people who really knew what they were talking about. Specifically from America, because America seems to be the biggest thing holding this back. So that's what we did.
And what came out of that? I mean,
well,
when you meet with them, the government?
It was positive. I would say it was definitely positive. It was just a matter of how best to do it, and I think it's simple. I think the best thing is to simply put through what was suggested in that commission.
Ironically, I never hear about this meeting.
Right.
You know,
it happened very quickly and
suddenly,
and we didn't say anything about it.
Yes.
First,
all right. You can say who you meet with.
We met with Chris Saka and Darrell Vaz.
Okay, Darrell Vaz, very important man in the business. Okay. And in terms of, all right, I know you say it came out good and thing, but what they would have to say in terms of, you coming to them with it without, Buffett and these guys?
Well, Chris Saka did ask why are we all here, what's in it for us, kind of thing. And there was really nothing more in it than it was something driven by me. I asked them to come, Jimmy Buffett and Peter Lewis, just really because Jimmy Buffett was the person who brought Peter Lewis, and I wanted Peter Lewis to be there because he's a very prominent person. We were able to inform them of what is happening in America, especially Ethan Nadelman, who really is up to date on everything that's going on. He was able to inform them as to what is going on, and clearly, if that is happening in America, it's going to be much less of a problem, right? So I don't think any of us said one can assure right at this moment that there's not going to be any problem, but one felt that it's definitely moving in that direction. So one should look at it seriously in Jamaica.
Sometimes meeting successful, but the success goes as far as the meeting room.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I agree. So the follow-up sometimes is really where they decide if it come out of the boardroom into the area of,
yes,
activity or...
Yes, absolutely.
So what is the next step now after the boardroom?
The next step is to keep on it, basically keep on it, come back with more information, just keep pushing on it, and that's really what we intend to do. That's the only thing I can suggest. There isn't any other way, because the first thing is decriminalization. That's the first thing. Then from that, thereafter, there are the other routes one can go. To me, there are three routes in Jamaica you can go. One is following the route of Amsterdam, which is where certain places are licensed. Another is in the United States, where there's the medical model, where people can acquire it through a prescription. And the other in Jamaica is that it's part of the Rastafari religion. Yes. So there is really three reasons, three routes through which one can go after it's decriminalized towards making it that much more available. Because the thing about the decriminalization, which is unclear, is, well, what happens if somebody's growing it? Can they be arrested? Will their fields get burnt down? Does that change then? But the reason why I'm particularly excited about it, going back to the wine thing, is I could see in Jamaica the same kind of things like you have in France, where there are vineyards, there are special vineyards.
Vineyards of Ganja.
Yes. I can see that, right? And
police go out.
That's right, and I can really see that. So it's something that really can go to the little man too, because it's something that the best ganja needs to be nurtured personally. It's not a mass product, and I think it's a great way of just feeding what is unique about Jamaica, is the individuality of Jamaica and Jamaicans, and I just think it is something which would improve tremendously the whole visitors, the tourists.
All right, well, I listen to you, and I hear somebody out there say, Chris Blackwell sound, when him connect it with the wine thing, it sounds like it's another venture into money-making vibes now, rather than the aesthetic value of the thing to Jamaica in terms of the cultural vibration. I mean, I understand, I hear you mention about Rastafari and the smoking it as part of the sacrament and thing, but I don't know if that wouldn't lead to a closing of for instance, the fields, the ganja fields. You're going to have a license to have these ganja fields, and it's only people who have money can afford these licenses, but the little Rasta man in the hill now were planted for use. The police are still come burn it down. Or would I go around that it don't become like a money venture for those who have it already, and not for a man like a man in Westmoreland who are growing, for bridging and bridging them? How do you think we could go around that?
Well, I haven't thought it all the way through, but I think a license could be based on the amount of land that you're using. If you're using a half acre, then you pay a license for a half acre, which would be a minimal amount. If you're using 50 acres, which is a tremendous amount, then it would be a much higher license. But I do think part of the reason to make it work is that Jamaica could earn a lot of revenue from it. So I think it would need two licensed growers, and it would need to license places like, let's say, we're at Strawberry Hill now. Strawberry Hill would be a place which would apply for a license, to be able to, people would be able to legally smoke it or consume it on the property. That would be another license that you would.
So the license with the man in the Westmoreland bush now, what kind of license? For do what? Look, I'm going to plant it for just smoke it.
For himself, you mean?
Yeah.
Well,
because I'm not planted for satisfy a wine taste taste. I'm a man who does love ganja taste.
Well, Westmoreland particularly, I don't know. I think I think people have been planting it for a long time, and it's more than just their own consumption.
Yeah, well, that's how they export.
And that's a good example, because it's built up a a great reputation.
Yeah.
Orange Hill has built up
Yeah,
a brand name.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's what part of the brand Jamaica.
Yes.
Good ganja come from Orange Hill.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes.
So that's serious. So you wouldn't, as seen say, it's nice to export some, to get some foreign currency into Jamaica.
I'm not thinking so much of exporting it.
Yet.
I'm thinking, and when I say me, I'm not in this business.
We understand.
I'm thinking more of it to attract people to Jamaica. I really believe, Jamaica is the greatest place on the planet. I really believe that. And I think more people need to come and see it, and more importantly, move amongst the people and go into the country and feel the country. Otherwise, if you just stay in a hotel, you don't really see Jamaica. You need to go and talk, go to a little rum bar somewhere, chat to people, go somewhere, have a couple of spliff, and then you will come back. You will come back. It's not that's what you want. You want people who just fall in love with Jamaica, and there are those. I'm sure you've met many of them. People who come here and they came here for 2 days and they're here for 20 years.
Of course.
So, and I believe, I believe in Jamaica, and Jamaica's. Heavens knows how Jamaica has proved itself for its uniqueness and its individuality and its inventiveness, its creativity. It's extraordinary.
Sitting here now, and a man and I say, why two man them propose the ganja thing, look like they love smoke ganja and everything. And me can tell a man non-apologetically that me never smoke ganja yet in my life.
Wow,
so me not have no axe to grind.
Right.
If you say, well, I chew me a rasta, why me come with this now and find some man who, within that thinking there. So it's not like me as a Rasta said, and you as a man who has said, well, boy, right now, because you're in the music business, you deal with now another part of the business in terms of, gang tourism.
Yeah.
When I say gang tourism, they say that ganja tourism, I'm going to register that.
The registered, yes?
No, take it up from me.
I'll pick it up.
It's good for say, all of this is coming to a pinpoint.
Yeah.
If you say, a man like you, a man like Buffett,
yeah.
and Lewis really decides about a face the government.
Right.
Because that is really what it needs.
Right. And it was just really to inform. Really to inform and say, this is happening in America. Don't let it pass Jamaica by. Don't let Jamaica lag in it. It's not the problem that it was.
All right. Well, we give thanks. We give thanks to know, say, this is our next part of Chris Blackwell. This is our next part of Chris Blackwell where, it gone beyond the music now. It deal with a political nature. Because it's really a political nature you reach now. You know that.
I guess. But I think...
It doesn't scare you?
I know. Well, it doesn't scare me because I've never sort of been involved in politics. And this, anyhow, is bipartisan, really, because this commission was done by the previous government. So it's a bipartisan thing here. I don't think it's one party or another party.
John Washington, him used to plant ganja.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, man. If you look in a book, there's a book named The Emperor Wears No Clothes.
Right.
It's a book where almost like the Bible of what the hemp is all about, what ganja is all about. There was a time when you can plant ganja in America without the law coming down by you for different purposes.
It just became illegal in the 30s, wasn't it? When was it? 30s or 20s?
Yes. Yeah. And there's almost a stigma to because even the argument of marijuana, which is Mary Jane, changing the name and everything there. So we give thanks. Say you're really involved in it. We give thanks for that. Yeah,
Thank you.
If herb become legal, more money are going to make more people are going to have access to it.
But more people are going to sell it and you're selling things I'll get less, things so.
No, the thing about it is that the best come from Jamaica. You know what I mean? And
you see the best come from West.
You see what I say? And saying best.
Yes, of course.
So naturally, if herb legal, it go up on a vast scale. Where one can just go in and shop, buy a spliff and just go smoke. You see what I say?
Yeah, and it prevents the criminalization of man and man, especially Rasta.
Alright, because Rasta use it as a sacrament.
Yeah. After all of that, we come to the point where it left up to you, the public, sometimes, to make a voice heard in this thing. And we don't recognize and realize that even within the commission, the majority of you say it's stupid to have a man as a criminal in Jamaica for this. It's really stupid.
Mr. President, I vividly recall a few years ago, a young man came to my office, bewildered and troubled, seeking my assistance in getting a job. I inquired of him where he used to work before. He advised me that he used to work at the airport. But consequent to 9/11, there's a new security regime that now demands that employees of the airport present or furnish their employer with a police record. This young man was been working for 5 years. Went to procure a police record. Only discovered that he had a record for a ganja conviction some years ago. He lost the job as a result of that. That's the kind of mischief I'm trying to correct with this proposal. Mr. President, it is with this in mind that I suggest to the government the following. 1, that the report of the Joint Select Committee of Parliament, which examined the recommendations of the Ganja Commission and which was tabled in Parliament since 2004, be debated and that a vote be taken on its recommendations. 2, that the government, as a matter of urgency, take steps to decriminalize the use of ganja by adults in well-defined circumstances and specific use.
We need to do something to decriminalize this vegetable matter that has destroyed so much people, not because them use it, but because of using it, they turning them into criminals. All over the world, people recognize, governments are now recognizing that ganja is really not what we thought it was. People want to say ganja is a very destructive thing, but over the years, I never really see, for instance, a Rasta man smoke ganja and lay down in the gutter. Because him smoke ganja and go and beat him wife. We really want to find out why is it that the Jamaican governments, we're talking about previous government and this government, why are they so reluctant to pursue the matter of ganja and the decriminalization of ganja when even them neighbor, when them afraid of, it's stepping up to the plate right now. Decriminalization of ganja is no more a federal thing in America. Now it's more and more state is stepping in line saying that, look here man, there's something beneficial about it, whether economically or medicinally. There's something that should be done to take out the stigma of this thing. We're glad to know that you have people in influential positions right now